That was a rough exercise maybe, sensitive exercise, but thank you for taking the time and effort to actually put it down on paper, maybe even share it with someone. And then now let's move into the next subject. So I want to talk to you about social norms and expectations. Every culture has their own norms and expectations, both on the micro level, the small level, and on the macro level, the very big level, and everything in between. So, for example, when I'm at the dinner table with my family, we might have a norm or an expectation that we all use cutlery, or maybe we pray before dinner, or maybe we put our devices away. That is something that in our tiny culture is a set of rules that we all live up to. But I might also have different norms and expectations from my city or my university, or maybe from my country, or maybe even on a global level, right? We have these human rights. That's a global expectation we have. Humans have rights. On all these different levels, we have norms and expectations. These social norms are often perceived and acted upon as if they were true, right? And it's important to make the distinction here that they are not necessarily true in the conventional sense, but they are perceived and acted upon as true. Brett Weinstein had a very interesting idea about this many years ago, or at least I heard it for the first time many years ago, about metaphorical truths. And these are truths that aren't necessarily true in the conventional sense, but the thing that they share, the behavior that they stimulate, are true. So the example that he gives is, let's say you live close to a forest, and your kid wants to go into the forest and play. But there's also porcupines living in that forest. These porcupines have very long quills, right? And if a porcupine attacks the kid, that might be very dangerous. It might kill the kid or it might harm the kid. So I don't want the kid to go close to that animal. What I could say then is, stay far away. Stay far away, because if you don't, the porcupine might shoot its quills at you, and that's going to be very dangerous. Now, this isn't true, because the porcupine is not going to shoot its quills. It doesn't shoot its quills. But the result is that the kid is not going to go near, and if the kid doesn't go near, it's not going to get attacked, and it's going to be safe, right? So the end that I get from this metaphorical truth might be the same result as what I actually want to happen. Now, as humans, we do this all the time. We all the time have these metaphorical truths that we're sharing with each other. We are very narrative-based beings, right? We make stories about many things because we want to condense a lot of information, a lot of boring and factual and maybe just raw information, and put a nice story around it so we can still utilize its content, so that we can still utilize its wisdom without having to know the entire truth, right? We're using a metaphorical truth. So these norms and these expectations play a crucial role in socializing an individual. From a very young age, as human beings, we are being socialized. We are being trained to be able to fit into the social structure, to fit into the social landscape. And one of the things we once again do is we use these narratives, right? We tell stories to our children which encapsulate all this wisdom, which encapsulate all these truths. And there's a very high price to not being properly socialized as a kid. Malcolm Gladwell wrote a very interesting book called Outliers, where he speaks about the impact of having certain conditions, having certain environments around you that can snowball your growth in a way. So let's say, for example, that I am a soccer player, right? I'm a little kid, I'm 7 years old, I'm playing soccer, and I am the best in my team. If I'm the best in my team, I might get scouted to go to a professional team or semi-professional team. Now, the difference between me as the number one and the number two for my old team might not be that big. It might be very small. But I get this opportunity to train with a semi-professional team. And because I get this opportunity, because I get this coaching, because I get this exposure, I can become even better. And then once I become even better, I might get scouted for an even better team. And once I'm in that really good team, I get all these perks. I get the best coaches. I get monetary support, so I don't have to go to school, or not as much. I get all these environmental stimuli that make me even better and better and better and better. And in 10 years of me snowballing all those advantages together, all of a sudden that old number 2 from my team as a junior and me are miles and miles apart. This plays out for everyone, for every little kid. If a kid is not properly socialized when they're young, if they don't learn how to play the social game, how to live within the social dynamics, they're going to fall behind. And once they fall behind, other kids are not going to want to play with your kid. Other adults are not going to want to help that kid. So not only did they fall behind a little bit, but by falling behind a little bit, they keep missing out on opportunities and keep falling behind further and further and further. So you get this reversed snowball effect of this little kid missing out on infinite opportunity, right? And that basically means you're fucked for life. So it's very important to socialize as a kid. Now, once you have that socialization, once you've learned how to play the social game, then it becomes interesting to break through it. Let's take, for an example, a drunkard or someone who is completely crazy out on the street, right? And they're yelling, it's like, and they're just acting completely crazy. You are going to stay far away from that because that's weird. That's someone who does not know how to play the social dynamics. But let's take this one person, this one presenter, right? Barack Obama, who drops the mic and leaves stage. You are not supposed to drop expensive equipment on the ground. That is not good social etiquette. But understanding the game and then choosing to break through it, that shows confidence, right? So you want to be socialized, you want to understand how it works, and then you break through it. That's real confidence. So, let's have a look at the tribal impact on our social behavior. Where does all this social behavior come from? At least partially. Where does it at least partially come from? The first thing is that we are very tribal creatures. There's this number called Dunbar's number, which basically says that we can hold up to 150 stable social connections with other human beings, right? 150 people could fit within our tribe. And as a tribe, we have this feeling of cohesiveness. We're together, we're a group, right? I'm getting goosebumps a little bit talking about this because it feels right. It feels right to be part of a tribe. The difficulty with that, though, is that as a tribe, you have a lot of support. As a tribe, you have a lot of love. But as tribes, we also have a lot of competition, right? We go back to that polarization. And this is especially true in places and situations where there is a zero-sum dynamic. So what is a zero-sum dynamic? A zero-sum game is basically a game where your loss means my win, or my loss means your win. There is one whole pie, and if I eat the whole pie, then you have no pie. Where a positive-sum game might be, there's one pie, I bake another pie, and then we both have one, right? There is more than just the beginning environment. There's more than just the beginning gains to be had. Nowadays, we live in a culture where there's actually a lot of opportunity for growth. But evolutionarily speaking, if we were living together in this one swath of land or in this one piece of forest, and there was just enough fruit to sustain one tribe, right? Either one tribe sustains or both tribe dies, then what's going to happen? Exactly. We're going to have tribal conflict, right? And our human history is rife, filled to the fucking brim with tribal conflict and identity conflict, right? Because through identity, we've managed to grow our tribes way larger, right? I'm an American, I'm a Dutch, I'm a whatever. You know, you're supporting this thing, but it's that same mechanism that we're using. It's that tribe that we want to be part of. So that also ties into why it is so difficult and is so hard to break a norm, to have that confidence to break that norm. Because if we go back to that tribe, right, we're living in the bushes together, we're just hunter-gatherers, we got to sustain together. We're living in this tribe. Everyone in the tribe is reliant on each other, right? People rely on me to do my job. And my job has been defined by these narratives. My job has been defined by these stories, these rules, these norms and expectations that have been passed down the generations. If I all of a sudden don't do my job then, that means that you can no longer rely on me. So let's say we go hunting together, right? And I shoot myself a nice deer, and I'm supposed to bring that back to the tribe and share it with everyone, and then I'm the last person to take a bite. But instead, I just take the deer and eat it on my own. That means I can no longer be relied on. People can no longer trust me. And if I do that too often, if people don't feel like they can build on me, I start becoming a burden to the tribe rather than a contributor to the tribe. And if I am unreliable too many times, right? If I am not living up to the expectations of my tribe and I keep letting them down, then sooner or later, I'm going to get kicked out. I'm going to get rejected, expelled, and once I'm out, once I'm by myself there in the wilderness, I get rejected from my tribe, I'm dead. That's it. It's over, right? Human beings need each other. We are very bad at surviving by ourselves. We are very, very social creatures, deeply social. So if I'm going to get kicked out of the tribe, to me, that's game over. And the fear of getting kicked out, that fear of rejection, is very deep-rooted for this reason. At least I think it's for this reason. So whenever I go on that job interview, or whenever I go to approach that girl that I really like, I have this fear that I potentially might get rejected. And if I get rejected, it's over. The girl says no, my life is over. And intellectually, we understand, no, that's not the case. But just give it a shot. Try intellectualizing yourself into approaching someone you're attracted to. You're going to be nervous. And something that I usually ask my audiences to do, and I'm not sure if anyone's ever done, well, I know one guy did this, but I'm not sure if any other people ever did it, is to lay down on the ground in a place where there's a lot of people. Just try it out. Just lay down somewhere where there's a lot of people and see how you feel. Your heart starts pounding. Forehead starts sweating, maybe even start shivering. You get super nervous, super self-conscious because you're like, what the hell am I doing? That is you in real time breaking a social norm. That is you in real time summoning that fear of rejection, right? So give that a shot by yourself, not with friends, by yourself. Give it a shot. Whenever you're done watching this, go outside, lay on the street, see how you feel. Trust me, it's going to be pretty freaky. But, big but, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And that light at the end of the tunnel is called the 21st century. And the 21st century means interconnectedness and nearly 8 billion people on the planet right now. So this was mind-boggling yesterday. Yesterday in preparation for this, I just Googled how many people are currently living on the Earth. It is nearly 8 billion. And in the link down below, I'll drop a visual representation of all these 8 billion people. And by scrolling through that, you start getting a sense of how incredibly many people there are living on this earth right now. And because there are so many people, it also means that there's so many tribes. And especially with the internet, we have tribes everywhere, right? We got all these digital tribes, we got physical tribes. There's so many different groups of people to join that this fear of rejection, this fear of getting kicked out of a tribe doesn't matter anymore, right? If you're going to get kicked out, nobody cares, right? You can just move on to the next tribe. Now, maybe there are certain tribes where you don't want to get kicked out of, like your family or a very close group of friends. Might be an argument there that you don't want to get kicked out. But in general, you can just move on to a next tribe. And the cool thing is that when you are in this new tribe, you can try to be another person. That's what I did when I came to university. As a high school student, I was a very undisciplined student. And I wasn't really motivated to study. But then when I came here to study in a different city, I was like, right now, I'm going to be this different person, right? I'm going to be the person that does the things that he says he does. I'm going to be high integrity. I'm going to be high output. I'm going to be the person that I want to be. And from the beginning, I profiled myself like that person here. And that's become part of my identity in this new tribe, right? So anytime you move from one tribe to the other, you also give yourself this amazing opportunity to reinvent yourself, try new things, right? Experiment. People don't like it, move on to the next tribe. And at the end of the day, we are just a bunch of bald monkeys on a rock flying through space, right? Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. Anybody who tries to tell you that they know what they're doing, they're lying, right? I'm kind of pretending like I know what I'm doing right here, but I don't know either, right? Who the hell knows? We're in some nether region of infinite space. Constantly, everything around us is infinite. We're trying to make sense of the world. Nobody knows. And then we just all pretend a little bit. I dress up, I go to work, we all do our little things. People don't know. So don't feel bad about not knowing. Don't feel bad about trying something weird or getting rejected. It's fundamental. Everyone does it all the fucking time, right? So don't feel alone. Goes back to that vulnerability. Just recognize that that is part of the human condition, and then you're free. And in that sense, you're free. So what I want you to do right now is get up from behind your chair and start moving. And I want you to dance, right? And I'll put some music under this, but I don't just want you to dance. I want you to dance as crazy as you fucking can, right? Make it really weird. Make it really weird. And as you get in there, just dance. Just dance, baby. All right, so why did I make you dance just now? When I do this with a live audience, it is fucking hilarious, right? Sometimes everybody just goes crazy. Sometimes people just, are a little stiff. But generally speaking, it's great. The thing with dancing in a crazy way is that it shows yourself how comfortable you are with your own body, with your own expression. And especially when you're by yourself. And then ask yourself the question, why is this the limit, right? Maybe the limit is me putting my hand on my head like this. Maybe the limit is me tapping both my shoes like that. Maybe the limit is, right? Why is the limit there, though? Why isn't it one step further? Why do I get awkward doing that, right? Why is that like, When you find that limit and you understand where it is, that is also the limit to what degree you can feel comfortable with other people. And I don't mean that you have to dance when there's other people, but if you don't feel comfortable with yourself doing it, how can you ever be more comfortable than that with other people? Right? So being able to push your own boundaries, your own limits in how you express yourself will also make you feel more confident when you're with other people.